Hi there, my name is Simon and welcome to my garage. If you're in the market for the very first oscilloscope to your little workshop, well, this video is actually intended for you because I'm gonna give you my advice based on my experience with my now 2 oscilloscopes, which are quite different, but each of them have a good purpose, you could say. Because when looking for oscilloscope, could go on Amazon, eBay, whatever, and you'll see that there is a lot to choose from. And some are even specifically intended for the automotive industry. And some is basically, intended for the electronic nerd sitting with Coca-Cola and chips. So what should you actually choose? Well, it's actually based on what your requirements is, and it starts with choosing either from a portable one or a one which is laptop based, where you get a more not that portable one actually. So I think I want to talk about the differences, so hopefully this will enable you in choosing the very right solution of your first oscilloscope. So let's jump into it. The first oscilloscope I want to talk about is the laptop based one, because it definitely has a lot of advantages. The one I have is from Autofokus, but there is a competitor one which is really big in the automotive industry also. It's called Pico. So I haven't used that one, and this video is not a comparison between the two. But anyway, the laptop based one has some very good advantages. First of all, you have a big screen to look at, so it enables you in investigating the waveform from whatever sensor you are measuring. You can inspect it very thoroughly actually, and it's easy to see, easy to use. And I know the Autofokus is very intuitive, the software, so even though it's the first time you use an oscilloscope, it's not going to be that daunting actually. However, the laptop-based one also does, in my opinion, have some drawbacks. And that is definitely the cabling or the wiring, because you need to first of all connect it to your laptop. You need to connect it to the battery of the car. And then you need to, of course, connect your measuring probes to the sensors that you want. And last but not least, you need some sort of table for your laptop. Some people place it directly on the bonnet of the car, whatever, but I have a little wagon for it. So it's not that portable actually. And that's, in my opinion, a little drawback. Also, in many cases, you basically just want to verify is a signal or not, and you want to do it a little fast. So doing this installation actually takes some time. So that needs to be on your mind when choosing it, definitely. Another thing is that this one has 4 channels, and the other one I have only has 2. And one channel, well, it's basically meant for one sensor or actuator, whatever. So if you have 4 channels, well, you can measure 4 sensors at one time if you're a really advanced user, you could say. Anyway, that's the laptop-based one. Now I think I want to show you the portable one, which were the one that I started with actually. So here we have the portable one, and that definitely also has its reason for existing, you could say, because I have spent a lot of time trying to diagnose this power steering control unit in my little Suzuki. And here it was very easy for me just to take this portable one. I don't need to connect any power to it or a laptop. I just connect the 2 measuring probes and I immediately get the signal, the waveform that I'm trying to investigate. So that's pretty smart. And another thing also, well, this very signal, it only appears after driving, I think 50 kilometers an hour or 30. So I need to drive in my car and at the same time try to look at the signal with the waveform. It would be very difficult installing the laptop one and take a drive with that actually. Another thing, when you buy a handheld oscilloscope, in this case you also get a multimeter. That's pretty smart. So you have it many times you want to measure a voltage or resistance at the same time, or nearby, well, you have the multimeter right at your hand as well. That's also pretty smart. The draw side or back side of this one is of course that the waveform, the graphics is not that good, so it can be difficult to see what the amplitude actually is, basically how big the voltage is. But in many cases it doesn't really matter anyway, because, well, you know what, either you're just looking for a signal, or you even know what the signal, the waveform should look like. So, and you can just see that the waveform looks correct, and then that's actually fine. Another thing I just want to mention is this one is intended for the automotive industry, and my D-Tex is as well. And what this means is it has some, or a lot actually, predefined measuring scales. So you don't need to adjust the frequency or voltage to fit whatever sensor. You can just choose an active ABS sensor or whatever, and it immediately corrects the scales. And that was one of the reasons I actually bought this one, because, well, as a new guy working with oscilloscope, I didn't know if it were very complicated to do that. But reality is that it doesn't really matter in my opinion, because when you're measuring on a sensor or whatever, and you can see the scaling is not completely correct, you just adjust it anyway. It takes 2 clicks. So anyway, I hope you liked this video and it gave you some input of what to choose. I want you to stay safe. Thank you for coming this far in the video, and take care. Bye.